God's concerned about, because those are the things that will and do destroy us. It's not your external appearance, the way you come across. That does not destroy you. What destroys us and stops us from being content and fulfilled and joyful are these things. And that's all Jesus wanted. It wasn't to condemn them or make them feel bad about themselves, because he never wanted them to feel bad about themselves. He wanted them to feel hopeful. Because if you can come to a self-awareness, if you can come to a realization that I am a mess, and this is what my mess looks like, there's hope for you. If you turn to Jesus, because he gives us something that is so unimaginable. It's called grace. But we'll never understand grace if we don't understand our hearts. If we think we're okay and we keep covering it up and trying to present, I'm this or that, we're in trouble. Right? It's that realization. Like, I'm that. Who are you? And that's important. And that's what Jesus said. We say you're so dull, you're still trapped on the surface. Quit playing on the surface. Go deeper into who you are and what your real battles and your real struggles are. And then we come up to the really interesting story in Matthew chapter 15. This one's fun. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession." Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel." The woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. He replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs." "Yes, Lord," she said, "but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed from that very hour. When was the last time someone called you a dog? And all you were doing was asking for help. "Hey, could you help me?" "No, I lost you, dog." We love dogs today, so it's probably not a great thing. Probably pig would be better, or you cow. Yeah, cow. Let's go with cow. Get lost, you cow. No one likes that. That's not an endearing term. Dog, you might think of golden retriever and go, "Oh, that's pretty cute." That's not what was meant here. Dogs were despised. They weren't household pets. That wasn't what they did with dogs back then. Right? And so it wasn't endearing. Why is Jesus being so mean? Why did he call her a dog? Tough question. But that's not really the question we should be asking. And that's not really what we should be focusing on. Because at the end he says, "You have great faith." Why did she have great faith? That's the real question. Because he ends up super encouraging her. There's only two people that he said this phrase to in the New Testament. Only two. And she's one of them. The dog is one of them. You have great faith. Why? Two things. First of all, who does she ask for help? Herself. "Help me. Lord, help me. Lord, have mercy on me." It wasn't for her daughter. It was for her. And that was mind-blowing to me. I don't know about you, but that's not the way I pray. I go, "God, help him. God, help my son. God, please help my wife." I know you love that prayer, right? Instead of, "Lord, help me." See how personal that is? "Lord, I want this relationship with you. I want you to help me." And so I'm going to change the way that I pray. I don't typically pray like that, but that's really cool, because if you really care for somebody, it directly affects you. And so why not pray for you? That personal relationship with Jesus. Because the demon-possessed girl is not about to pray to Jesus. But she could. And she meets this major resistance. So the first time she goes to Jesus, Jesus calls her a dog. "Get lost. I don't mind to do with you," basically. What does she do? "Meanie, I'm not following Jesus. Who would follow that? No, no. She goes, it is not right. Yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs. You see her humility? She's not offended. She perseveres. She pushes through because she knows she needs Jesus. You getting it? When we're hit with troubles, trials, negativity, we think God's not there, things aren't working out, persevere, push through. Pray, get back on your knees. Lord, help me. Yes, I know, but no, too often we jump to criticalness, judgment. I got to do it myself. All this stuff, instead of just realizing, no, keep going back. Keep going back. Keep going back to Him. Be faithful. She's there because she shouldn't have been listened to by Jesus because of the culture. But she persevered in faith. She knew that no matter how I'm treated, Jesus is going to fix it. People can't. My best friends can't. Jesus can. And that's such a great example. And then boom, daughter is healed. Persevere with Jesus. Keep going back to Him, even when it feels like it's not working out. Even when you feel like you're a dog or a cat. Keep going back to Him. That's the message that He's really trying to drill home. And He goes on, in verse 32, Jesus called His disciples to Him and said, I have compassion on these people. So again, what had happened here is Jesus, it had been a busy time. You can imagine He's doing all this healing, preaching, and gathering, and, if it was me, I'd be very wore out. And so He tries to go off to a solitary place to get some time alone. That often didn't work for Jesus. They followed Him. So here, thousands of people follow Him. And so this is what He says. I have compassion on these people. They have already been with me for 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. His disciples answered, where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd? How many loaves do you have? Jesus asked. 7, they replied, and a few small fish. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground, and He took the bread, took the 7 loaves and the fish, and when He had given thanks, He broke them and gave them to the disciples, and they in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was 4,000, besides women and children. See this story before? Do you remember this story? It's a different story, but it's the same story. So just a couple chapters ago, Jesus fed 5,000 men, women, and children, so probably 20,000 people plus. Here's another 16,000 plus. 1,000 people. But here's the interesting thing. This is a repeat miracle. How did the disciples respond? Where are we going to get the food, Jesus? Did I not just make a bunch of food the last time? You see the irony? And you see how we can be? Because that's the whole goal of the scriptures. Put yourself there. That's exactly what I did. We don't. Even though Jesus has performed miracles and done all sorts of cool miracles and different things in our lives, we still, where am I going to get that from, Jesus? How's that going to work out, Jesus? And there He goes. He just feeds another, 16,000 people. I can't even imagine. I want you to do some math with me because I like math. Right? So 5,000 men, let's just assume close to 5,000 women, 2 kids per, so whatever. So about 20,000, 16,000 here. If you do the math throughout the scriptures, Jesus probably reached, fed, taught close to 100,000 people. It's a lot of people in a 3-year span. How many followed Him? Maybe 500. There's a little controversy there. But maybe 500 on the top end actually followed Him. What do you think of that? How would that make you feel? What's the percentage? Can somebody do the math there? 500 to 100,000. 0.02% or something? Not very many. So what's the point? Jesus didn't care. No, he did care. Right? He didn't care about them falling. Of course, he wants everybody to go to heaven. Of course, he wants everybody to follow him. But all Jesus cared about was showing love and compassion and caring for people. He loved all of them. Whether or not they made the right choices and decisions in their lives, Jesus loved them. So he fed all of them, and he healed all of them. And almost none of them ever even came back and said, thank you. They just kept taking from him, taking from him, taking from him. How would you feel? I'd be frustrated, angry. I would start to be or would already be bitter. But Jesus wasn't. That's the motto. That's what he's showing us. He's turning everything in this world upside down. He says it's better to give than to receive. It's better to not have an agenda than to have an agenda. It's better to just care for the sake of caring. It's better to be compassionate just to be compassionate without expecting anything from it. What's most marriage problems? You expect something from the way you give to your spouse. Problem. You're just supposed to give. That's Jesus' message. That's his gospel. If you want true contentment, true fulfillment, peace, patience, kindness, all, if you want that, it's about giving and not expecting. It's about giving because you love. And how can we love? Only because we have been loved. Isn't that tough? Go serve 100,000 people with almost none of them appreciating. And you don't get paid. That's Jesus. That's who we follow. Can you imagine if we just did a small portion of that? Our expectation, we're just going to serve, we're just going to be kind, care for people. Can you imagine how different Anchorage would be? People would be going, what's wrong with those people? Just like they said with Jesus. What's wrong with them? And they were offended by him because he made them look bad because he was good. Right? And that's the key. And we're going to skip to Matthew 16 because there's just so much in these chapters. I pray that you're spending some time, digging out some of your own insights and connecting, with what Jesus wants to say to you. Because in Matthew 16, it gets real personal with Peter, which is really fun. This is one of my funnest parts of it. Because this whole interaction with Peter is really cool. So in verse 13 it says, when Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you? He asked. Who do you say I am? Simon Peter answered, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Who do you say Jesus is? Don't know what other people say. Who do you say he is? And it's important to think about it before you say it. Because what Peter answers here is pretty intense. He goes, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. You know what the Christ is? You're my sacrifice. You took my place. You're replacing all my sin. You are my Savior. Son of the living. And I want to be able to say that, honestly, more consistent. Easy to say, but do we live that? Do we live like Jesus is our Christ? That I'm okay. I'm forgiven. I have his amazing grace. I can look in the mirror and say, I am a stupid mess, but I have grace as Christ. I have Jesus. That's the answer. And that's my encouragement, my challenge, my admonishment, whatever you want it to be. Challenge yourself this week to believe that Jesus is your Christ. Wrap your head around what that would, because I'll tell you, you won't need external motivation. You won't need people telling you should come to this event, or you should go do this, or maybe you should come to the mentorship. You won't need any of that. It'll all come from inside, which is where everything needs to come from. When it's coming from the outside, it just feels like work. It feels like a chore. It feels like control. It feels like people telling us what to do. So if you ever have those feelings, it's because you're living externally. And you're hearing everything externally. We got to get inside and get internal motivation. And we do that by making Jesus and believing that He is our Christ. I'm free. Yeah, I know, lousy morning, but I am free. I'm going to listen to Jesus more than I'm going to listen to Satan. Because this is the fun part. A little later, same journey, Jesus goes, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by man, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he warned his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Christ. Peter. Give me one word to describe Peter. Yes, volatile. Love it. Any other? Crazy. Reactionary. Brave. Sure, that's a positive word to describe Peter. Love it. What else? Like, yeah, impulsive, maybe lacking some self-control. He's just given the keys to the kingdom. That's exactly who I'm going to give the keys to. Isn't that amazing? You see, Jesus is faith. So what would He give you? In all your craziness, in all your insecurities, and all your stuff, He just gave Peter the kingdom. Here you go, dude. That's what He wants. That's how He believes in you. He doesn't see all that junk and that garbage. He sees all that incredibleness in you that you have a hard time seeing. And so He entrusts this to Peter. And Peter's like, "Yep, I'm the man." Of course, he handles the rest of the story really well, doesn't he? Excuse me. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to His disciples that He must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, chief priests, and teachers of the law, and that He must be killed and on the third day raised to life. Peter took Him aside and began to rebuke him. "Never, Lord," he said. "This shall never happen to you." Jesus turned to him, to Peter, and said, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the things of God, but the things of men." I think he was regretting giving the keys at this point. I don't think so. This is real life, right? Peter got this new assignment, this new role. I'm the man. Someone believes in me. He takes it a little bit too far. He thinks, "Let me put you in your place, Jesus." But that isn't really what Jesus was even upset at. It's because Peter was still thinking worldly. Jesus is explaining, "I'm going to have to suffer. I'm going to have to die." And Peter goes, "No, suffering is bad. Pain is bad. I'll stop it all." And Jesus goes, "Get behind me, Satan." Don't we agree with Peter? Suffering is bad. Pain is bad. Hurt is bad. And Jesus says to you, "Get behind me, Satan." Because those are the very things that shape and mold us. Those are the very things that help us deal with our heart. Those are the very things that allow us to go inside and change from the inside and get this internal motivation. When we live on the surface, when we live in the exterior, we don't want any pain. Right? You see it in parenting all the time now. Little Johnny falls, and there's 5,000 people gathered around making sure that that scratch is going to heal. Right? We don't want anybody to be hurt. We don't want anybody to suffer. And Jesus says, "Get behind me, Satan." That's so encouraging. But it's true. See, we don't see things. Too often, we just don't see things the way that Jesus sees things. And that's why he keeps driving it home, driving it home, driving it home. It's because he wants us to think in the right way. And he closes off chapter 16 with this thing. He says that Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his very soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what he has done. How does he wrap it up? Deny yourself. Take up your cross. Is that easy? No and yes. It's a weird question. We got with some young marrieds on Friday night, and the question I asked them, I said, is marriage easy? And they all said, no. And I said, why? And so we had a dialogue, because marriage exposes your heart. It exposes who you are. You can no longer hide in marriage. Anybody else, and pretty much any other relationship, you can hide in. You can disappear. In marriage, you will be exposed. So your heart gets exposed. So is it easy when your heart is exposed? No. But yes. You see, because if we don't deal with our heart, if we don't deal with these things, it will get very hard. And so, yes, it's like going to the gym, and I do this a lot. Thanks, John. Wow. Right? You know, that's the simplest analogy that I can't relate to, but, you know, so you go, and it's really, really pain, and people say, is going to the gym easy? And, yeah, the guy who's all buff and six-packed out, he goes, yeah, it's real easy. No, it's not. Because he's gone through all the pain and suffering to get to that point. It's the same with our heart. We got to get through the pain and suffering. We got to get through it in order to see the fruit, in order to see the gifts come in, the blessings, as Matthew 5 said. But we got to get through that. And we all know, even from an external physical point, how hard it is to go to the gym. Imagine going to your heart. It's so hilarious when people say, Ray, you don't know my heart. I don't want to know your heart. Mine's enough. Thank you very much. Like it's like some people think I've got just a beautiful heart. There's some beauty in there, but there's a lot of not beauty. So don't use that phrase, please. Just realize, well, I'm a mess, but I got grace. And I'm going to deny myself and take up my cross. Is that easy? Yes. Because if I deny myself, there's a chance, there's a hope that I can overcome, that I can become more peaceful, patient, kind, live a fulfilled life. So is this a blessing? Yes. This is an encouraging scripture. But again, we're too much of the world, and we go, oh, I don't want to deny myself. That's hard. No, it's way easier than if you don't deny yourself. Seeing the deeper things. That's what Jesus came, is he wanted us to get off surface mode and go to the heart. And to realize that as we look at the heart, on our own, there is no hope. It's why he said to Peter, I'm going to have to go suffer and die for you. It's the only way. And we're going to take communion in a couple minutes, and this is the only way. Jesus came, he was a great example of what it meant to love and to serve and to care. And then ultimately, though, he suffered a horrible, painful beating and death for me. So that I can look at my heart and I could say, save me from it. I can look at how I am, and he can empower me to deal with it. I can look at who I am, and I know that I have this incredible grace, and so you know what? That eternal motivator is going to be what propels me. If we lose touch of who we are, we won't be motivated. So as we take communion, as we take the bread and the fruit of the vine and the cup of juice, know that it represents the body and the blood of Jesus. And because of him, his body being broken, his blood being spilled, and then him being raised from the dead, that you are cool. You're okay. It's all right. But only because of his grace. And I want you to meditate on it. Take a look at your heart. Now, don't take a look at your heart from a worldly point of view. Take a look at your heart from a Savior point of view, from a Christ point of view as we take communion, and to know that, wow, it's so awesome and incredible to have a God that cared enough to send his Son, to torture his Son. Let's give thanks for the body of Jesus. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you so much for your grace, your mercy, your forgiveness. It truly is overwhelming. Because without it, we're just a horrible mess. But we thank you that you give us purpose, that you give us mission, that you give us reason, that you give us hope, that you give us faith. Father, we thank you for sending your Son. We thank you that he died on the cross. We thank you that you raised him from the dead. We thank you. I thank you that you took my place. I thank you so much, God, that I have a restart on an ongoing basis because of your unconditional love, your grace, and your mercy. Father, I pray for each and every one of us, for all of us, Father, to, as we take communion this morning, to experience, to tap into, to be motivated by your unconditional love, your grace, your mercy, Father, so that we can look at our heart and know that you are in charge. And know that you are the one that can help us. Help me. Father, thank you for this time together. Thank you for this celebration of the resurrection. We love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name.
And that concludes the communion portion of our service. At this time, we take up our contributions. You know, and I think Romans 12, where Paul says, renewing of the mind. Because that's really what Jesus was all about, renewing our mind, flipping everything upside down. You know, we're taught to think, and you talked about that denial or suffering is negative, and we should avoid it at all costs. Jesus said, well, you know, right? And it's the same with giving. In financial giving, you're taught, you're told, you know, save up as much as you can, build as much as you can, and you should be responsible for sure. But to be very overcautious is such when we give. Jesus goes, no, give. And that's what this time is about, is for us an opportunity to check our hearts. What do we think of giving financially? It's one of those tricky areas because here's the reality. You know it and I know. You get what you need. Pretty much. Oh, I know some of you want lots of things. But you spend money on what you want to spend money on. All Jesus says is, are you giving? Are you sacrificial? Are you concerned about maybe your heart being greedy? Selfish? That's all it is. Contribution, taking up the contribution at this time is really a heart change. For us to evaluate. If you haven't spent time with God about it, don't give. Because don't give under compulsion, don't give out of guilt, don't know. Give because it's your conviction. Give because you know you want to. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you so much that we can give. Thank you so much, God, that you again teach us so differently when it comes to money and giving and what that means and what it looks like. God, we know that it is all yours anyway. And we do want to give, God, with a joyful heart, knowing, Father, that you will use it in incredible ways that we don't even understand. Father, we give to you. Father, please bless this contribution. We love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. As the ushers hand out the baskets, we've got some GLCC minutes. Let's see what we got for that. 2020 minutes for free.
After the announcement.
Sign up online, registration online. Midweek this week, 7 p.m. at the warehouse. We're continuing with Esther. Next Sunday, we're back in house church. So if you're new with us and you know where the house churches meet, ask someone or someone can ask someone.
So I don't know where she got this one from.
As
I
well,
think it's not strong enough. No, it's totally
because
that's a really strong capture card. So this can't process
which is Easter Sunday.
It's only 4 days.
Reverend Blood Drum.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of makes sense.
So I have a hypothesis that we just to like lower that the resolution and the frame rate just to see if we can help.
Upcoming events, there's all the things you know about. Highlights, certainly the Fairbanks 5th anniversary service in September. Let's try to get
What
everybody
is the frame rate?
up to
We just had
Fairbanks
it set
to
on
encourage
our
our sister church
We
there.
weren't choosing.
Please join us
Did you?
on potluck
The
after the
resolution
service.
was
We're gonna have food
The
up there.
frame rate will save more.
One more
Yeah,
song,
right.
and then thanks for food,
So.
and you can dismiss. Have a great day.
I mean,
Wait, is that sarcastic or not?
No, that was not. I mean, that was.
Okay, let's try that one.